Hello, everybody. Crowded house. As you can see, the wonderful Colin Weber has decided to join us this evening. We'll see how long he sticks around for, how violent he gets. Mark's playing with fire.
You just bit me.
Playing with fire, Weber.
I got him on video. That's owner abuse.
Right. Something you can show animal control when they come to take him away after a 28-hour standoff. But as you can see, Troy McKee of Grindstone Toys is in the house. We're going to talk a little call sign longbow tonight. But hang with us. We'll be right back after our kick-ass intro, provided I can find that button. I got a lot of buttons. Everybody, welcome to the show. It's Tuesday night. It's 9:05. That means it's time for What's on Joe Mind. We are a fan cast about the world of G.I. Joe. I'm your host, Mike Irizarry. How's everybody doing?
I mean,
we're all right.
I've ceded my desk to the cat, so okay.
I mean, you guys are killing the energy in the room, is all I'm saying. I came in firing. I mean, we got some energy going. Well, we're okay, I guess.
Pardon me for being terrified. Blink twice if you're okay.
Right, you ain't terrified. That cat loves you.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But if he starts tipping stuff over, there's a limit to what I can do.
Look, man, if he starts tipping stuff over, he's just a cat. You just start petting him again, and it'll be okay.
Man,
if he's tipping stuff over, he's trying to get your attention.
He's got 6 claws on each paw. That's quadruple snicked.
Isn't it 7?
So
I thought it was 7.
I think it's 7 toes, but 6 claws.
Okay. So he just got the. He just
like I'm going in there to count. Why don't you come over, Mike? Spread them fingers out and get a good claw count going.
Look, man, I would show up with treats because I'm not a dummy, so it's no problem. Treats. Right. I become the treat guy. That's why animals love me.
Makes sense. I thought it was because you attacked them with your feet.
That helps, but that's usually well after treat time is established.
All right, fine.
Anyways, here on the top row, providing content for our special Pet Talk segment. He's the former head of marketing for the G.I. Joe brand at Hasbro. It's the Hot Show, Mark Weber.
You got that right. And now all I'm doing is autographing Valaverse packing slips as they go out.
Right. Just leave it in the special instructions, right? I watch What's on Joe Mind. I want Mark's autograph. Somebody
ordered a Gemini figure. That's one of our female figures today from Vancouver. And I wrote inside, I wonder if she's one of the Sedin brothers' sisters, given that her name's Gemini, right? Bam, that's a deep cut NHL bit for our friends up in Vancouver.
Right.
So somebody's got that little gem headed their way. I got in the comments, I got Bart demanding autographs.
Yeah, so I saw that somewhere.
Just get a stamp that says "Stay Golden, Pony Boy," the honcho.
Right.
I don't sign everything, and I don't catch everything. But if I see somebody I know, I'll throw something in there. And if I see a Central Oregon order, I put Lava Bears, just so they know.
Lava Bears.
Yep.
In the bottom row, our erstwhile host of Rack Time and senior Kickstarter correspondent. It's Rack Time Rob.
Hello, all you happy people.
How goes the laying about, Rob?
Shiftlessly.
Excellent. That's as is planned. We're in the summer. Rob's got nothing to do, and he seems to be loving every minute of it.
How many weeks till school, Rob?
I'm not even thinking about it right now.
Wow.
So maybe we might be within 10 at that point.
That's because lazy ass overpaid teachers get paid in the summer for doing nothing.
That's right. And don't forget how we're warping young minds to be un-American.
I want to get a bumper sticker that says that and see how long it takes me to get run off the road.
Right. We're just actively keyed. You know, people
fair
are
enough.
making full eye contact as they walk past your parked cars, scratching across the sign.
Good idea.
And lastly, in the bottom right, he is again the co-founder of the fine Grindstone Toys Company, and the guy, one of the guys behind Call Sign Longbow. It's the erstwhile Troy McKee, ladies and gentlemen. Troy McKee in the house.
Yo.
Where are my figures, Troy?
Right? Hey.
Come on now, this isn't a Hasbro live stream. Come on.
You're reading out my emails now? Is that what you're doing, Rob?
I just knowing the internet, I just had to,
Right. I mean, Mark has gotten some emails about Troy's figures at Voliverse. That's how bad it's gotten.
Yep.
You see the comment by Rex Ship there?
Here we go. This one. When I go to buy the India weapons pack, can I request a self-portrait from Mark?
You got to get some headshots, Mark.
You can request whatever you want, man. Free country. There's no tax on dreaming.
Right.
But self-portrait, is that me drawing me? Or is that me drawing him?
I'm thinking just a headshot,
I would just get some black and white 8x10s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Right.
dig it. The order sheets are 8.5 by 11 folded up, right? There's no way you're getting this on 8.5 by 11. That's not happening.
I mean, maybe an aerial shot, but
Maybe.
like you're getting ready to do 10 minutes at the Chuckle Hut downtown.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll give him a doodle.
that thing where you got the collared shirt with no tie.
You give them the blue steel.
Semi-formal but edgy. I could do that.
And of course, pinch hitting tonight is young Colin there
Right.
in Mark Square. He seems insistent to be between Mark and the camera tonight. So just be ready to handle him, because what do you tell the 48-pound house puma to do? Where does he get to sit? Anywhere he wants.
That's right. And he doesn't yell at me when I get home. So, and that's not a Mrs. Weber reference. If you're thinking that's where I was going with that. That's Emma the dog, Emma the guard dog, who's asleep on the couch now.
I'm about to say it.
I was going to say better than the Eternal Baseball podcast with Rob the other night, where all the other family had gone upstairs but kept talking with doors open. So Emma just stood on these stairs behind me and whined for an hour and a half.
She really did too.
Yeah, I'm like, this is great. We got a double header tonight too, and that just means more Emma.
She knew how the Red Sox were going to turn out.
Yeah, right. She was whining at the Red Sox.
That's good though. Nobody should be.
Shame those Red Sox got beat with me and Rob running them.
No, nobody's crying conspiracy on that one, but there's no way to guarantee a win in Eternal Baseball.
No, but there's a way to guarantee a loss, and that's to go to Rivera with a lead.
Greatest of all time. No says that
software.
simulation.
So Mark, if the three people who don't complain about when we talk about baseball wanted to find the Eternal Baseball podcast, where would they find that?
Oh yeah, well, it's on YouTube. Just search for Eternal Baseball, or the whole thing. My little side hustle is at eternalbaseball.com. And the way we schedule our season is that it starts right after MLB's World Series to get people through the cold baseball-less winter. And then we're wrapped up by the All-Star break. So we're just about to start the Eternal Series, the last bit for the title. It's the St. Louis Cardinals against the Oakland A's. Game 1 is Wednesday or Thursday.
There you go.
Exciting stuff. Going to be a new champ regardless. Neither of those teams have won before. So. And I kind of like that Oakland might win a title in my league in what is probably their last season in Oakland. I like to think that we're the owner that Oakland deserves.
Right. I don't know. There's a whole soapbox I could get on about that situation that I don't want to subject these people to.
If they win, they're going to bring the stadium down by flushing all the toilets at once.
They only have to flush one toilet to make center field flood. So
that's a good point. I like that the Mets were so lousy that they played in Flushing for a long time. Oh,
they still play in Flushing.
They should.
Yeah, the new stadium is only across the street from where the old stadium was, so it
still stinks then. Oh,
Hey, man, I was born in Flushing.
Flushed and Flushing. Anyways, if you're catching us on the Facebook tonight, be sure to give us some kind of a reaction, some kind of happy little emoticon, whether it's a thumbs up or a heart or a little huggy guy. We love little huggy guy. If you're catching us on the YouTubes, thank you. You have followed all the notes correctly. Regardless of where you're watching, just make sure you get to YouTube at some point. Click the little like button down below and the little subscribe button down below and do all that cool YouTube stuff for us. Leave your comments, not just live comments, but big boy comments down in that section. And share us in your various social media circles. That's what gets it done. Last week we had 11 new subscribers, which was really like the single best week we've had all year, which is sad to say, because I know you guys are getting out and subscribing in bigger numbers to trashier channels. So, stop that and send your people our way.
Yeah.
Everybody complains that the YouTubers, they're just in this for credit, and no, we're here to screw around and occasionally talk about G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
We're accurate about that sort of thing, but we don't care about the drama. You guys all complain about hate and drama. We got no drama, and yet you watch the drama. So make up your mind, guys.
When you turn somebody on to What's on Joe Mind, it's like a free upgrade to first class, baby.
Right?
Come on down. And
not on Spirit or some shit airline.
No.
Like a good one.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Not on Spirit.
We got little warm towels up here. It's pretty exciting. Right. Yeah.
We're that airline where the compartment is tied to the back of the pterodactyl.
That's right. Anyways, what do you say we get going? It's time for community calendar. Provided I can find the community calendar. Good Lord, man, I got so many of these things.
It's the one labeled Wham!
No, it's not that one. I took that button out, Mark, just so you could never get us demonetized again.
Oh,
well, you could.
Challenge
not that way.
By the way. Yeah,
not that way.
Just gonna have to get creative. Ooh.
Look, man, I keep saying you have all the passwords to get into all of this stuff, and you don't. So
the only thing between keeping this channel away from Armageddon is my own laziness. Thank God for that.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, Troy's even here. You could be running the 34-minute show right now. I don't know if you've read my my file card, Mike, but not terribly ambitious. Yeah.
I don't know, Mark. I think if you and I push it, I think we could do an under 30-minute show. I think we could get it under half an hour.
I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could. You'd probably have to mute Rack Time Rob, but outside of that, I have no doubt.
That'd be something, man. Me finishing early for the first time. Blink twice if you're in trouble.
There's a joke that I don't want to make there because we're
friends. Let it go.
Community calendar, as always, brought to you by Roma Collectibles. You can visit Roma Collectibles online anytime at romacollectibles.com, as well as, there it is, so many buttons. Hit up Roma Collectibles, the toy store. It is in Springfield, Ohio. They're closed Monday and Tuesday because those are the What's on Joe Mind watching days. Open Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 7, Sunday, 12 to 5. Always buying, just if you're bringing stuff in, don't make it stink. Also, you can see our proprietors there. That is Aaron and Mary Mercenary. Just make sure, don't make eye contact. No direct eye contact. Speak at a very low level, soft tones. We don't want to anger the proprietors. They bite and scratch and they mace sometimes too, as I learned the last time I was up there. Yeah, it was tough day, and they like me.
Right.
What headless goodies are you showing off there, Mark?
Oh, well, I mean, Cap's always on patrol.
Right.
But now it's kind of like I'm writing the script. I'm only 190 pages in. It's a buddy cop movie with him and Baron Mordo. but they don't have heads.
Right.
Yeah. They're chasing down MODOK. I think that joke writes itself.
I think you just need to draw little faces on the head bulbs, and you're just done at that point.
It's the best idea I've ever heard.
Right? I'm full of those.
A nice little fine tip marker. Boink, boink.
Yeah. Oh boy. Now I know what I'm doing tonight instead of taking over the world. Yeah. Oh, that's a good call. Custom contest is coming up at Joe Fest. I'm halfway home, baby.
But Justin Booth checking in real quick. I saw this in there. I want to make sure you got your compliment, Mark. I just want to say Bobby is killing it with the Action Force figures. I've already pre-ordered the Senshi figure. As soon as I get paid, I plan on ordering the rest of the Series 5. So there you go, Mark. Another satisfied.
I appreciate that. Hey, and you know, totally honest here, because we're all about keeping it real. You know, we realize this is a G.I. Joe podcast, so we're not gonna wave the Action Force flag too strong. But I believe almost every Action Force collector is a G.I. Joe fan too. And so I believe there is quite a bit of crossover, and Bobby's line is made for customization. So even if I know there are Joe fans who don't subscribe to Action Force, but I guarantee you there's a good chunk of them that have Action Force weapons on their G.I. Joe figures. So I don't believe you have to be mutually exclusive, even though there's, there has been historically some friction between Bobby and Hasbro, but there's been some friction between me and Hasbro too. Try letting go of somebody doing a great job and see how they feel about it. So, but I appreciate it. And one of the great joys of my toy career has been writing file cards, and I only got to do it twice at Hasbro because they had a whole department of writers whose job it was to do that, and didn't want to overstep. But with Series 5, I'm writing file cards again, and I got to contribute a couple of the early file cards to Series 1. You ever wonder why bone collectors from Tucson? That's because nothing good comes from Tucson. So there you go. But yeah, I got to write the Series 5 file cards, and it was an absolute joy. And so I'm digging it. And Series 5 is really good. And if you read the file cards, including the one typo and the one military thing I got wrong, that was all me. So that's why God made pencils with erasers.
Andrew Gaugan notes, and friction between Mark and Target too soon. I mean, always, but we'll get to more of that in the news. So just hang tight. Hold that thought.
No friction between me and Target after I dumped their ass.
That implies that there's been movement, and there has been no movement.
No. We have a very pure relationship.
There is none.
They treated me like crap, and I told them to walk east till their hat floats. Spider-Man line.
Right. Oh, goodness. Okay. Anyways, moving on. First up on the calendar tonight, Heroes Convention's happening this weekend. You're a comic book person. You're around Charlotte. You probably need to be at Heroes Con. Larry Hama's there. Bob Camp is there. Jim Shooter's there. Many, many more. It is a guest list that is a good 5 pages long, so I'm not going to get in any more than that. You can check that out yourself at heroesonline.com, rather. Yeah, it's really one of the big comic shows out there. You don't see a lot of press for it, but they've been doing it long enough that they don't really have to advertise. But I always like to get something up on Heroes Con anyway. It's one of the few big shows that are all plugged to great deal on our program.
I mean, 42 years in.
Right. Yeah. Like, they clearly didn't need us. What's on Joe Mine Push is not so much a thing here. But again, just to make sure everybody knows about it. Yeah, again, tickets and information available for you at heroesonline.com. That's this weekend. That's next up. Toy Hio. That is also happening this weekend. That is on Saturday, 15. That is at the Metroplex Expo Center. You can see they got a guest list there full of wrestlers. Willow Nightingale.
No, they don't.
Stop.
No, actually, 3. I don't have any problem with 3 of the 5.
Right. I mean, look, I'm going to defend Willow Nightingale. That's a local girl, man. She's a Long Island girl.
Got no problem with Willow Nightingale.
And you got Nyla Rose. You got the
no
formerly
Nyla
the Bunny.
Rose. No problem with the Bunny.
And Aubrey Edwards is there. She's not a wrestler at all. She's a official. And then Nick Gage, who I don't particularly care for either, but hey, he's still doing it after all these years. So more power and respect to you. That is all happening in Ohio. I can't see the name of the town on there because I got my little barcode thing on top of it. So pardon me a second. There we go. Girard, Ohio. I totally forgot. I don't have any notes. There's no notes here. There's no prep here. I'm worse than Troy. I do this show every week. But again, you can see there free parking, keeping in our game motif, but of course going way, way back on it. And kids 12 and under are free. Troy, you getting to that one?
Some kids. Pick up
I don't think I'm going to make this one.
Come on, Troy. Come on now.
Little out of the way.
You got all these shows on your schedule and you're skipping Toy Aisle.
In his defense, there's always a chance he could be attacked by the Triptychon Expo Center.
And he'd miss it if he's not there.
It's not hard to get to, man. Just drive east and turn left.
Oh. Wreckship 85 notes that them too. There seems to be a plethora of free kids this con season. There's yeah. Let's face it, our generation as child rearers, we're doing a terrible job.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of available kids.
I just like to think of them as free range children.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair, but at some point those folks got to get in and get toilet trained, and I don't want any part of that.
Somebody's got to take care of me in assisted living. Come on now,
right? I mean, you have kids, Mark, so somebody.
They're not going to take care of me.
I assume you haven't driven that big a wedge.
I mean, I'm working on it. We'll see. One meal at a time.
Just keep taking out for pizza, Mark. That'll make you the favorite.
I made my famous lasagna on Friday. It was good.
All right,
play the hits, baby. I only make 5 things well, so.
Damn straight play the hits. But Bart asks, in the VIP areas, do I have to pay for a kid? I don't know.
I would think that the VIPs would get 2 kids free.
You'd figure.
Twins.
Next up, got another Inside Pitch show that is a 2-day event, June 15 and 16, Saturday and Sunday. This one's happening in Rolla at the Kerr Scott Building, whatever that is. Saturday 9 to 4, Sunday 10 to 4. $5 for a single day, $8 for a weekend. It's a bargain at twice the price. Kids 12 and under continue to be free. Just to show you that that's not a regional thing. That's pretty well nationwide. Free parking at all shows. You need more information, head on out to InsidePitchPromo.com.
I like that Steve Kerr and Dennis Scott got together to buy the naming rights of a building right in the middle of UNC and Duke. That's pretty solid right there.
Right. I mean, look, they're 2 of the premier 3-point shooters of their generation. So why would they not be business partners in a random state that neither of them has anything to do with?
And one of them has a college degree and the other one went to U of A. Brr.
Mark, I mean, you did go to the premier party school of the last 5 decades.
We're number 1. It's the only thing we're ranked in, man.
Right. I mean, maybe we should hold back on the school quality haymakers.
I'm just saying.
What time does the library open over there, Mike?
5. Got me.
Beer o'clock.
Oh, now we're talking.
I mean, it's the summertime, so I think they wait till beer 30.
Right. When you get a U of A grad that lists all the great things about the University of Arizona, and then it'll come to me for my retort, I'll say Pat Tillman.
Easy.
We done here?
We're
done here.
Don't scare the cat. He's the only one on your side.
Right. He's sitting on top of the couch now, 1.5 feet from the dog, with his back to the dog. because it's like the ultimate in just dismissal. Like, you know what? Try it and you'll die. Like that.
I mean, actually, when a cat sits with its back facing you, it's because they trust you that you won't be able to hurt them.
That's it. That's what he's doing to Emma right now.
So clearly that I don't think it's quite as mean-spirited as you're making it out, but I think the threat level has been determined.
Yeah, he knows she's all bark.
Literally. But Just Jeff 45 notes that, hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late. That's this 5-hour show in high gear. Well, there you go. We're taking it from the top.
Oh,
I'd like to give credit to Zaymont before we bail. CGC with the correction. It actually wasn't Dennis Scott. It was Byron Scott.
No, I think Dennis Scott was accurate.
I'm going to go with Byron Scott because he's a friggin' Sun Devil too, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Byron Scott was a far more useful player than Dennis Scott or Steve Kerr. So I wouldn't, I think Dennis Scott and Steve Kerr, there's some parallels there.
That's fair.
Mantis it says when he went to IU Bloomington, it was the #1 party school. That is untrue because Arizona State was open then.
I think IU Bloomington must be a D2 party school.
It must be. I mean, you'd think it's huge. There's plenty of student body there, but maybe they are only D2 in partying. I mean, Rob went there, so that they can't be that great.
I think the last time we were the #1 party school was the last time they made the Final Four. So it's been a while.
I like now though, if the party school starts to fade while you're there, you can enter the transfer portal and go somewhere else to party. Right
there, you go.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have that back in the day.
We were locked in.
Yeah, look, I am the only of my parents' 4 children. I'm the only one that does not have an Indiana University degree. And those, I can speak for the other 3 in saying that they are all boring. So no, they got nothing on Arizona State.
But now you've returned to Indiana University to mess it up from the inside.
Well, I'm trying to break things down. I am the secretary of partying down.
Nice.
All I know is we never got an American Dad episode.
Well, I think that was Tucson and Bend, Oregon.
What?
I think both of them got roasted on American Dad.
Oh man!
And so did Arizona State.
Is that show still on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Checking.
Yeah. I think in terms of number of episodes, they are 7th of all time.
Good Lord. What an indictment of the country. But okay.
Oh man. For a little while, that was the funniest show on television.
For a little while.
They had their little 3-4 year window in there where it was absolute must-see television. Troy McKee, what do you think?
About what in particular? Party school?
Oh my God.
What's the party school in Colorado? Is it Colorado or Colorado State?
I have no idea what the party school is.
I think the answer is yes, Rob.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The answer to your question is yes.
I went to an online school, so we didn't have much of a party culture.
Well, again, that is totally on you then. That is entirely your fault. That's your problem, sir. And exclusively your problem. Got to cut loose sometime, Troy.
That's why he's here tonight.
Look at him. Look at him sitting down there. He's got his haircut you could set a watch to. Like a Johnny Unitas.
Might have to get another one before I get to Joe Fest.
Yeah, I got my Joe Fest haircut yesterday. It's still not staying under the headphones. There we go. Anyways, moving forward. Inside Pitch Promotions. Get on out and see him in Rolla this weekend. Hey, coming up soon next weekend. Some of us are going to be at Joe Fest in Augusta, but the rest of us hopefully are going to be in DFW Joe Show in Dallas. That is happening same days, June 21, 22, 23. Of course, as all of us are celebrating 60 years of G.I. Joe, dating back to 1964. Round of applause. But all kinds of folks at that show. Admission is $15 to $50, depending on what ticket package you buy. Those are available online at dfwjoeshow.com. As you can see there, the tentative schedule, June 21, is from 6 to 8 p.m. That's a Friday night preview. 22, it's 10 to 5. $9 gets you in on an early bird. And June 23rd is from 10 to 3. Guests include Kirk Bazigian, Daryl DePriest, Larry Hama, Ron Rudat, many, many more Joe guests. They've really gone out of their way on the guest list this year. So if nothing else, check it out at dfwjoeshow.com. Hopefully they put some of their panels and things like that online so the rest of us can see them afterwards. Joe Hunter 73, he'll be there. Just 3 hours drive. Yeah, absolutely. You got to get if it's a 3-hour drive. You have no excuse at that point. So good on you, man. Unless like somebody's dying or something, then maybe you can skip it.
Stop by the Action Force Valiverse booth. Get yourself the new Bone Collector. Pretty exciting.
Is he also from Tucson, or is it a new guy?
Same guy.
All right.
Different bone. Seriously, his helmet's different. He's got a minigun, and he's pretty badass.
Does he have a Wildcats tattoo?
No, he does have. If you take off his gauntlet, he's got skull tattoos on his wrist that he's building. So by 10 years from now, he'll have both sleeves done, I'm sure.
Will there be a Wildcats logo in there somewhere?
Under the skulls, perhaps.
Maybe a Lute Olson tattoo?
Yeah, maybe Acapulco Lute. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, goodness. Wreckship 85 says that the new skull helmet on Bone Crusher 2 is amazing.
See, I'll play grammar copy here. Bone Crusher's a transformer. Bone Collector. Valiverse. Yeah.
There you go.
But he is great. And I had nothing to do with that figure. But he's incredible. Go get him.
Jeff Butler will have a table at DFW selling some of his childhood stuff. 90s Joe vehicles, carded Joe Street Fighter figures. Find him under his brand name, Nowhere Manchild.
Okay.
So there you go. Hit up Jeff Butler. 0% discount for What's on Joe Mine Hugs. 0%. Unless Jeff decides otherwise. I'm not gonna speak for Jeff in that regard. I'm not running his table. I'm not handling his money.
I'll speak for him.
Probably a surcharge for What's on Joe Mine. You're paying extra.
Right?
I mean, you should, but we're givers.
I'll speak for him. 5% off any Street Fighter figure if you do the Dalzine dance.
And you have to levitate at the end, right? Like
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's key. That's a big finish.
You have to levitate or a reasonable facsimile where both feet are off the ground simultaneously.
Or you get any figure you want.
Hang time.
Any figure you want for free if you beat up a car with your fists in the parking lot.
But you have to finish. You have to completely take the car down in 60 seconds.
That's how it works.
It must be done. We will handle real life demonstrations. Jeff, if that happens and you don't get it on your camera, you're dead to us, and there's no two ways about it.
Yep. Bye-bye.
What if he busts up an electric Honda?
No.
You know, because then he's beating E Honda.
We like E Honda. He's one of the more entertaining G.I. Joe Street Fighter figures, and he's a sensible car.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Find a tired-looking security guard and give him the 100-hand slap and see what happens. Or do that thing where is it Chun-Li who goes upside down with the helicopter legs? That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this has become the Jeff Butler Dream episode. We mentioned him. He's here every week. He's got comments. He tends to make us laugh, but we've turned this into a Jeff Butler segment. So there you go. At no charge. I thought Troy McKee was our guest. He doesn't feel like talking today. So instead we'll go with Jeff Butler via IM. Jeff Butler says, I will try to film all Street Fighter actions that occur. Don't try, man. Don't try. Just do.
Yeah.
Do or do not. There is no try.
I'll jump up on the table and bite your head like a big white Blanca. How's that?
That sounds dirty.
It
yeah.
It does. I would limit the amount that you jump around, Mark, because one, you're 6'3". That's going to freak a lot of people out. Two, you have the head of a 7'3" man. So that's going to really freak people out.
Right. It's amazing how strong my lats are just to keep this thing centered, right?
Right,
Like I'm always working out.
Right. Mark has the traps of a man 20 years old. They just he shrugs and the whole room moves.
Dude, it's all I can do to keep them this flat, right? If I relax, they're just gonna Brock Lesnar up and forget it.
It's like that Rock promo about the Undertaker's 33-pound head.
Right. Now the only guy on the roster with a head that big is JD McDonough.
Right? Holy smokes.
That's a melon.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. As we promised Dan we would do last week, he will be up in Utica, Michigan, with Dan Larson at Sergeant Red's Toys and Collectibles. That's happening July 14. That is from noon to 3. Get more information at Sergeant Red's on Facebook. Remember, that's a toy store, not a bookstore like some dumbass tried to say. But again, toy store. I believe they're on the current season of what is that? What's that Amazon show, Rob? You know, Kokomo Toys
Toy
had
Shop
an
near
episode.
me.
Thank you. Toy shop near you. I believe they are on the current season of that, so you can really get the skinny on the program right from that from the fine folks at Amazon Prime, and then go see the Dans at the Best Dan Toy Spectacular on July 14th.
Dan up. Yeah.
Dan up. You know, we never used that last week. I feel bad now.
I've been trying to come up with something all week. That's as good as I got. So.
Dan up would have been perfect for last week, and I don't think any of us said it once.
Mm-hmm.
We goaded him into doing a wrestling style promo on Dan Larson, and even then, the professional promo guy did not have Dan up going. So I feel like we missed one there. I feel like that is when they throw you the pitch right down the middle of the plate and you just swing hard and look dumb.
Mm.
Well, way to bring the show down, Troy.
Damn.
Moving forward, Toy Man's happening that day too.
Woo-hoo!
If you're not in the Utica part of the country, if you're closer to St. Louis, Toy Man's a great place to get yourself to. That is happening from 9 to 2. Admission is $5. Early birds $15 gets you in at 8. Parking is free and bountiful. Find and hug Dave Draper for a 0% discount. Remember, that's Toy Man. 7 decades of toys right there under one 2-story roof. They fill that building. It's something to see. Be sure to check it out. Got the address on there. You can pause the video later. Check that out for yourself. If you're within 2 hours of St. Louis, you're not going to Toy Man at least once a year, you're not doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Hug Dave Draper and then do the Dalzian dance.
Right. That too, we will demand video verification. Andrew Galgan asks, damn, Mike, Troy's going to walk out mid-broadcast, which makes me wonder if he'd be the first to do that. Yeah, he would. Little known fact that for these 13 years now, our guests are chained in.
Yeah, I can't leave if I want to. I can't get away.
He can stand there so that we're only looking at his torso for 2 hours. But he is chained to the floor.
But if this keeps up, I will go for the torso option.
All right. Well, you do that because your abs are not that interesting.
So long as you pull the shirt off Hogan style. Oh man, what a clip that's gonna be. Brother.
Oh boy.
Oh. Bart asks, is there a toy woman show? Yeah, but that's down out by the airport. That's kind of a different element. That's a little bit of a creepier crowd. Anyways, moving forward. You need to touch topics like that gently with Bart and be ready to move on because he will go to the next step. Diana Davis asks, how big are those kids and are they free? Good question. So they serve a lot of fried foods in St. Louis, a lot of red meat, so they tend to be pretty husky. But they are free. They are free. Just again, if you wind up taking one home, be prepared for donuts and red meat because that's all they're going to eat for a while.
And
ravioli.
Emo's Pizza.
Breaded raviolis, yes, fried ravioli. Emo's Pizza is garbage, hot garbage.
I was not impressed.
If you're lucky, hot garbage.
They have like the weird cheese in St. Louis on the pizza, right?
Yeah, cheese in quotes, but yes,
Yeah,
it's Provel cheese.
that's it. Yeah,
The combination of provolone and Velveeta.
Right, it's the provolone version of Velveeta. It's god awful. Just the worst. Just the worst. I refuse. St. Louis is a wonderful town to eat in. Make no mistake. It's Lord knows it supported me all those years. But if you can't find a good to great restaurant within an hour in St. Louis, you didn't try. But Emo's, no, just no. And the people there swear by it. Nick Adams asks, can you drop kids off and leave? Is it like a no-kill shelter for kids? No, you cannot.
They kill kids there.
No, they won't kill the
Oh.
kids. They'll shoot out your car on the way out, though. Like you got to you better be driving a pretty slick driver to get past their sniper belt. Is all I'm saying.
So this is East St. Louis then.
No, it's actually West St. Louis.
Oh.
You know.
It's so far east it wrapped around. That's
Right.
how bad it is. Okay.
That's how east.
Mm-hmm.
But East St. Louis is Illinois, so don't pay attention to
the
what
river East St. Louis.
we don't pay attention to what's on the Illinois side. Mark, come on.
Just saying.
That's
I
like
always
the
heard-
Can-
That's
always
like
heard-
the Kansas problem.
right. It's like the Kansas side of Kansas City. Who cares?
I always heard how rough East St. Louis was. Ooh.
It's the truth.
I've only been there once, and a Royal Rumble broke out.
Yeah. Anyways. As always, thought-provoking questions from Nick Adams.
Mhm.
And coming up soon,
Here we go.
it's our favorite. It's the Kentuckiana G.I. Joe Toy Expo. That is down at Paraquet Springs. Excuse me. The Paraquet Springs Conference Center in Paraquet Springs, Kentucky, just south of Louisville. That is on July 20th. That is happening from 10 to 4. You can see our free parking sticker is back. $10 gets you in the door. $15 gets you in for early bird at 9. There is the $30 Friday night Colonel's preview, which means they're open to you from 5 to 8 p.m. the night before on the 19th. Plus, gets you an early bird for the 20th. Kids 12 and under are free. And Mark, where can people go if they want more information?
I mean, I'm still looking at 5 to 8 p.m. plus eternal baseball. Who knew, right? but once you're done with that, and you're tired of listening to the baseball game while the dog whines in the background, just slide on over to kyjo.com.
There you go. Or
And that's
visit them
not
on
even counting
Facebook.
the early bird special of 11 herbs and spices.
Insert yourself into kyjo.com.
Right. Their Facebook page is going to be a little bit more informative and up to date. So I would actually recommend the Facebook page first. If you don't have a Facebook page, they do have an email contact for you on the website at kyjo.com. Bart notes that KYGI Joe show sounds pretty slick. You bet your bottom dollar, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It's the slickest. Frictionless almost. Come on, Troy. You have one. You have one, Troy. Come on.
No, not for that. I just love that it's the Colonel preview. But it's Kentucky Colonels and KFC.
I'm not.
Is that what people come in as cosplay to this Joe show? Do they wear the white suit with the little
Right?
With the
I'll
little
say, sir, you will be giving me all of your G.I. Joes now.
I was at the Kentuckiana Winterfest back in January, and that was not happening there. But again, it was kind of warm January, but it was still just January, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Well,
That seems
yeah,
like a
you're still in
really-
that post Labor Day, don't wear white type of thing.
It seems like a missed opportunity to me.
Speaking of missed opportunities, Jake Rose.
Jake Rose asks, "Is it a long show or do you just go in and out?" You know what? It's really there to meet your individual needs. If you want to spend a long time in there, by all means, get in, root around a little bit. You'll have a good time digging up lots of root around. God, Mark. He doesn't look pale. That's how good that one was.
That was a good one.
But I'm just gonna let that one slide on by.
Right, lots of great stuff in there. Whether you collect 12-inch Joes, whether you're more of a 6-inch kind of collector, or even if you're only endowed with a 4-inch collection, it's all there for you at the Kentuckiana GI Joe show.
And judging by the logo, Cabbage Head from the Kids in the Hall is going to be there. So that's
no, man, he's just got the Vietnam helmet with the leaves. Cabbage Head will not be at this show. I believe they've got him signed up for Winterfest, though.
Okay, we'll do.
There you go.
I heard he was supposed to be there, but they dicked around with his contract too long.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I suppose there's still time. It's a month out, but moving on before we get sued. Hey, Joe Fest is happening soon too. I hear we're going to be there.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. Forgive me for not updating the tile, but unfortunately, Morgan Lofting will not be in attendance. But I'll be there. Mark will be there. Rob will be there. Camera Jockey Jamie will be there. Sergeant Slaughter will be there. Pixel Dan Erdley will be there. And many, many more. Tickets and information are there for you at Joe Fest USA, even at this late of a date. I mean, good luck finding a hotel room at the convention hotel.
Right.
But Lord knows, even we're not staying there. We're guests. But they're still there for you if you're anywhere close to Augusta, Georgia. Remember too, Patch Czar will have some Staff Sergeant C-Nugs patches available. They're going to be at his booth, number 160. It's in the back left, limited to just 25. They are going for $15 a piece. All proceeds on the patches benefit Canines for Warriors. That is the charity that provides servicemen with retired service animals and so on to be their companions moving forward and help with PTSD and other complications from battle. So again, all $15 going to that great cause. So be sure to check them out. Hans Chow kicking in the door.
All right.
Prepping for Joe Fest, almost complete. Artwork is almost complete. Looking forward to meeting all of your fine folks. All of our entire staff will be there.
Yep, we're bringing them all.
Diana Davis asks, she did, I swear, is Morgan okay? I am assuming that big picture she's okay. I have heard no details. So I think that is just being out of respect to her at this point. Details are not public at this point. So we'll just assume that big picture okay, but I can't responsibly comment any further. Zaymot CGC says someone should make a "What's on Joe Mind" flag. We have a banner that's blue and looks a lot like that. So just imagine that he's walking around with that thing.
If we get a couple more headliners to drop out, we could be the new headliners at Joe Fest. Just saying. I'm not rooting for that. I'm just saying.
I mean, we did do a good job of pitting the Dans against one another last week. So there is the possibility they will take one another out.
It may be a Dan off.
But anyways, there's the map.
The Armageddon. Ooh,
there is the
marketing.
The patch czar. He's in the back corner. So if you're looking for one of those patches, as you go in, just head for back left. And he, I'm going to guess these are going to be gone before too long on Saturday, maybe even Friday. But yeah, so go early. Don't wait on this if you're looking for one of those patches. Patches are specialties tend to go pretty quick.
Is there an entry like right around the corner? Is that what I'm looking at? Because that's where I'd hold out if I was trying to get a limited edition patch.
I believe there's a door there, but I don't think it's open. I think it is locked.
Yeah, it's
I believe-
that's the loading over by the loading docks.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So the only public entries on this map, I believe, are the ones at the bottom of the screen.
So there's a stampede. Just saying.
Right.
Lots of people are going to get their patches. Lots of people aren't. But Mufasa is definitely dying. Let's just be clear about that.
And look, he knows what he did.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, guy.
That guy. He's something else, that guy. He's a piece of work, that Mufasa.
I always identified with the scheming little brother anyway, so I'm down with that.
Mark is the scar of the Weber family.
Life's not fair, is it?
Cheapest big spender says, I would go, but then everyone would know who I am, and I can't let that secret out.
That's some good planning ahead there.
I could tell everybody which of our stupendous 19 coffee supporters he is, but that would really ruin the fun.
You just narrowed it down. You half identified him.
Kind of.
Eh.
I mean, I suppose everybody should know who Terry Dezard is, so we know he's not him. Troy's not a supporter because Troy sucks.
Man,
and
tough room.
as I roughly solicit a coffee membership out of the dude who's trying to start his own toy company.
Right.
We're still in that startup phase.
Yeah.
I mean, the business model took all the money, but there ain't no toys yet. So I think he's rolling in it.
Good call, Mike. Why don't you ask some nuns for help?
Right. I tend to wear the jerk hat on this show simply because somebody has to, right? Because Rob doesn't have that in his deck, and frankly, everybody loves Mark. He used to run the brand, and he uses that to great advantage. But so somebody has to be the bad guy around here. But that may have been the single worst thing I've ever done on this show. Tried to get money out of somebody starting up a toy company. Good God. Low margins.
How do you
folks.
sleep at night?
Low margins. Also happening, Techno Viper 3D has put together about 50 of these Staff Sergeant C-Nugs in action figures. They are available at Joe Fest. Still haven't figured out price on these yet. These are going to be at booth 36, which is if you're heading towards Patch Czar, we're on the way. There may be some variants. We'll see if that works out. So I don't have any pictures of them to show you just yet. But right there, we'll be at the Cobra Convergence 8 booth. It's going to look a bit more like a What's on Joe Mine booth. But it is next to Brian, or rather Robert Atkins and Brian Shearer at booth 36. Just past us is our friends at Roma Collectibles. So I immediately feel bad for Robert Atkins and Brian Shearer being stuck between us and Roma Collectibles.
Yeah.
That's tough.
We've immediately brought down property values.
Troy, you're just at the end of the next block, right? You're at number 20.
Yeah, I can't read that. So there's that middle aisle with the doubled up ones.
Right.
We're that pink one just to the left on the bottom across from those.
Yes.
Pink. That's a bold decision. Okay.
It was truly,
Yeah.
and we salute Troy's fashion sense on that.
Not
So
bad.
we're all going to be pretty close.
It's a little off salmon, if you ask me, but fine. Yeah.
Well, you just gotta stand out there.
More
I mean,
floral.
Come by the What's on Joe Mine booth on Monday, because that's when Wes and Joe Colton will be there with Mango Habanero signing autographs all day Monday.
Somebody's gonna try that, and then we'll be accountable for that.
Mm-hmm.
Zaymot CGCS is our booth near Sergeant Slaughter's booth. I don't know because I didn't check on where Sergeant Slaughter was. Maybe. And no offense to the Sarge, it's been something of a process these last couple of weeks figuring out exactly where we were going to be. For a while, we were going to be in Troy's booth. Then this opportunity came along, and so we're just happy that we know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about where everybody else is. I know where Roma Collectibles is.
If you can't find Sarge, just look for the line, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or sniff for the iodine dipped thumb.
Right.
One of the two.
And
you
frankly,
will smell that for a week.
Mark, if we are that close, I would be on watch. I would make sure that we're head on a swivel on that one, man.
Man, I literally, I wasn't terrified, but I was so confused as he pulled me in closer, and I'm like, hey, I can't get away if I wanted to. So it kind of limits your options, right? Like, what am I going to do? You know what you're going to do? Whatever the hell he lets you do. And just seeing my gigantic melon fill up more and more of each mirrored sunglass. I have no idea what's about to happen, but it's going to be memorable. Maybe not enjoyable. I don't know. And then he stuck his thumb in my nose.
Wreckship85 asks, if I drop off a baby-sized Ricondo hat and mustache, can you get it to Joe Colton?
Yes.
You are damn straight we can get that to Joe Colton. You do
But-
that, I promise you it's going to get there.
But not before we wear it like Kurt Angle, because that'll be awesome too. Yeah.
Also true. Also true. Phil Donnelly notes that the What's on Joe Mind guys are actually going to be in a cardboard box under the freeway overpass. That's
Probably
after
accurate.
the show, Phil. After the show. That is our living arrangements, but not our show arrangements.
If that's the only way to get our autographs, that freeway is going to be jammed.
What's on Joe Mind? What will you gentlemen charge for an autograph and a photo? And what is your preferred item to sign? I think our rate is, what, $600 for the three of us?
Mm-hmm.
And our preferred item is an athletic supporter. Not worn. Got to be fresh out of package.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we're not charging. For anybody thinks I'm being serious about that, we don't charge.
No, come on by.
Yeah.
We'll
sign anything and everything.
I will sign a Hayatoys Storm Shadow and keep it. Because that's my lone. That's not my lone goal, but that's the target for Joe Fest. I'm on the hunt.
He will use Brian Shearer as a human shield.
Mm-hmm.
So be ready. Just if you bring that by, just be prepared for all contingencies.
If you go down the back of the shirt and grab the belt, you can wear them like a buckler. Yeah.
I would like to point out that the signature policies of Mike Irizarry do not reflect those of the What's on Joe Mind staff.
Then somebody's just going to be out of a gig, is what I'm saying. We sign everything.
Mike's autograph $0. Rob's $399. More for an inscription.
I'm just saying.
Will you sign Philadelphia Eagles gear? Stonegate.
They will.
Stonegate Creations. Will you sign Philly Eagles gear? No, that one draws the line right there.
Mark, there you go.
I figured you'd sign it and write all sorts of lovely things on it.
Well, okay, I might take that back then. If you're prepared to have that $500 souvenir helmet read Eagles Son,
right.
Love Mike, I'll print it backwards just so it looks cool.
Or
so you can see it in the mirror.
Randall Steroid Cunningham, right?
Right. Bart, Mike is signing my left. Look, guys, if you're going to whip out nipples, you're dudes. That is not scary. Okay. It's weird, but whatever. I've got a Sharpie right here. I've got red. I've got black. I've got silver. Whatever, guys. I don't care.
Do you have purple?
I do not, but I can make that happen.
Got to get a purple. That way you can actually get purple nurples.
I can sign in purple and then deliver the nurple.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's it.
Maybe draw a Vikings helmet around the nipple and then twist.
Then bam.
And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I like this.
And anyhow. And then, of course, we got the panel. I wanted to leave this in. We are still going to have a panel on Saturday at 4 p.m. But the format obviously is different given Morgan's situation as canceling last minute. Again, not something that she did on a whim. Something has come up. Her health is in question. Not long-term health. She'll be fine, big picture, but we don't know what that is. But we will still be holding a panel on Saturday at 4 p.m. So I wanted to make sure that everybody didn't freak out and think that our panel's canceled.
We will be singing the soft hits of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Baldy Locks Review says, I'm traveling for Joe Fest and the Eagles this year, so let's not talk bad about the Birds. I think you've got the wrong show, sir. That's,
man. Where are all these Eagles fans come out of the woodwork?
Right. Rob and
What
I
have we done?
are Giants fans. That is not something to necessarily be proud of these last few years, but we stopped the most aggressively annoying football team in history. You owe us for that.
Yeah.
And frankly, the Eagles are never welcome in this house.
Dude, hey man, I'll stand up for the Eagles. They're the second best team in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
It's the Steelers followed by the Phillies are red hot.
I just realized we weren't talking about the band.
Right? Yeah. No.
Sure. Joining us at Joe Fest, of course, we got a cavalcade of stars. You can see there Brian Hickey, Patty Lennon, Bob Brecken from over across the ocean, John Anderson, Josh Blaylock, Michael Charles Hill, Dan Larson, Sergeant Slaughter, and many, many more. I can think of no one else who will be at Joe Fest. No one at all.
Doug Hart.
Stop by the Hasbro.
Well, I was just going to say Troy McKay will be at Joe Fest.
Oh,
Look at that big old goofy head.
It's not as big as Mark's.
No.
well, what is?
Diana Davis asks, you stopped the Raiders a few times. Yeah, but I'm talking about the 16-0 Patriots. Went down hard in that Super Bowl by the score of 21-17.
No, that was 17-14.
I'm sorry, you're right. That one was 17-14 in Super Bowl 41?
2.
Ooh.
It's been too. I haven't had Justin to taunt on that for several years now, so I get fuzzy on the details. But Phil Donnelly asks, "Who's Troy McKee?"
Something I ask myself every morning in the mirror.
Right. I think
still trying to figure that one out.
Troy McKee may have access to Phil's Kickstarter order, and it may be turning into lost in the mail.
Shipping is really kind of a hairy deal. You never know what's going to happen.
Especially out to California. That mail truck's got to get on the 405.
Which is jammed.
And that's jammed.
Jammed.
If you want some payback on Phil Donnelly, I'll dox him right here. He lives in the Cinderella Castle at the very top. There's a apartment. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, that's forced perspective. It's how they make it look bigger. So that is a very, very tiny room that he lives in at the top of the castle.
Just him in a proton pack. Wait for somebody to open that door.
Dustin Jeffrey says that Cowboys fans are way more annoying than Eagles fans. Nationally, yes. To Giants fans, no.
Well,
and mind you, Cowboys fans are pretty annoying to us too, but not more than Eagles fans. Not more than Eagles fans. But I believe the Cinderella Castle does have a hotel size room in it because they've used that as for contests and stuff.
That's in Florida. I'm gonna back Philip up here because I know what he's saying.
Okay, all right.
That is in Florida. It's Sleeping Beauty Castle at Anaheim.
Oh,
and it does not have a restaurant or a hotel room up there. It's just got a little walkthrough attraction.
All right, there you go, Troy.
well, I'm glad you corrected us before Phil did in the comments because you knew that was coming.
I'm just saying that it maybe our position of Disneyland expert, maybe it's open now.
Yeah, hey.
Maybe we've got a change of personnel.
Our chief Disneyland correspondent.
Right.
So Hans Chow has a question in the comments. We'll actually get to that in a bit. We're going to take care of the news, and then Troy will talk about what's coming up with Call Sign Longbow. So just sit tight. We'll get there. Zaymot CGC notes that Eagles fans were bold enough to hit Santa Claus with snowballs. I'm going to back him up on that one because halftime was over and his fat ass had to get off the field.
Isn't that two different stories combined?
No.
Okay. I just remember them booing Santa Claus.
They booed and threw snowballs at Santa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just part of the boo. Anyways. And that's it for community calendar. How about that? Only took us to the hour point to get done with community calendar this time.
Oy.
We're back to normal. Thank
Mark,
God.
Mark and I would have done 2 shows by now.
At least.
7. I was saying 7 slides and 65 minutes later.
My apology, Mark. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'd already hit the button. And then
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry.
I get it.
But yeah, so I guess that means it's time for the news. Ooh, I'm proud of myself. I got my entire soda-fueled belch out of my system during the news bit there. So I feel like
I saw the graphics shook a little bit.
right. Little cherry Coke Zero. That wake up your night right there. First news item. I wish I had a Jay Sherman belch that I could throw on the soundboard. Maybe that'll. Anyways, so happening earlier today, because I love them Tuesday news drops. But Lenny and BMAC got online and did an official unboxing of the HasLab Dragonfly helicopter. Pretty cool stuff coming our way. I am assuming that all 3 of my cohorts have seen this. I know Rob has. We watched it on the big set right here in the living room. Her name is Sony. Anyway, Troy, you get a chance to see that one?
I saw some pictures of it. I didn't watch the unboxing.
Okay.
I'm mostly just excited about Glinda. The helicopter is great and all, but that's one of the foreign figures I collect. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say, look,
you're the guy.
I'm the guy. Yeah.
I'm happy about Glinda.
I have more than one.
I was happy about Glenda, but I don't know if I'm that happy about Glenda.
I mean, it goes without saying, Mike, because she comes with Grand Slam's backpack and laser rifle.
Rob will vouch. I just sat there and said, "Oh, Lenny,
come on." Now.
It was disappointing. It wasn't even anger. It was just disappointment.
He knows it.
Oh, Lenny.
Slip of the tongue, but I knew Mike was going to come off the couch for that. What?
Look, not everybody is the silver-tongued assassin on live camera that I am. So I have to approach the situation with grace.
I want to be there though. If the rabbit hole is deeper than you fear, and that they're coming out with a Grand Slam figure,
there will be words. There will be an angry letter.
Gun. Oh yeah.
There will be an angry letter if a Grand Slam appears with that laser rifle setup before there is a flash. There will be problems.
I apologize for starting with the nitpick, right? Because I watched most of it. I had to skim it because I was watching it late. But I liked the video, and the Dragonfly looks incredible.
Yes,
it really does.
Yeah,
I have no stills, so we're going to sit on this one for a while. But Rack Time, Rob, give us the 60-second summation of your thoughts here.
Yeah, I really can't wait for this thing to show up. I've got to really have to think about where am I putting this.
Jim Smith says Grand Slam is definitely in. Look, whatever, fine, great, all for it. I like Grand Slam. You're wrong, but if they do a Grand Slam with that backpack and rifle before they do Flash, I'm not going to be happy. Troy McKee, same thing. 60 seconds. You can have some of Rob's time if you want.
Are we? You want me to talk about Grand Slam?
Oh no!
Mark Weber.
I saw it coming.
Mark Weber, your thoughts on today's official unboxing?
I mean, it looks fantastic, and there's stuff I didn't know about it that they showed, like the adjustable fins on the tail. I didn't know that. Maybe they told us that, but I didn't know. That's cool. I like how you can alter the loadout on the wings depending on what you want. That's great. The the stand it sits on, where you can make it either ascending or descending depending on how you want to display it. All the figures looked fantastic. I did chuckle a little bit when they brought out that the art matches on all four, even though that's not what we normally do. that made me grin a little bit because it looked really good. Although Glenda looked a little nasty on the back. I don't know what was going on with her face. But by and large, HasLab's this products this expensive should be this great and this buttoned up. And the only part that I was disappointed we didn't see were the lighting effects. But it was an unboxing video, and it's not boxed with batteries, and it can't do that. And I'm sure they're going to come back with a video later on that shows off how the lighting looks in a proper environment. So that's that and the Grand Slam double are the nittiest of picks. This looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, for something we didn't think was even possible when they announced it, man, it looks great. And like you said, the other figures look fantastic. I was strangely enough, I think the best of the bunch, past Wild Bill. Like Wild Bill's the guy, right? He's the man.
Yeah.
But as far as the stretch goal guys, Crazy Legs, out of sight, just wonderful, just great work going on there. And it was fun. It's always fun to see Lenny geek out, like because that's a guy who's about our age and has about our perspective on things. So it's fun to watch him get giddy about these products that he helps design, and he's still this excited about it. So, again, great presentation, great product. If you're like us and you ordered one of these, you're counting down the days, and it just looks outstanding. Head to the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel. Check it out for yourself if you haven't by now. But you've had like 5 hours, so what you been doing? Huh? Anyways. Jake Rose, I made a joke with my wife that we'll put the dragonfly on her side of the room. She said, fine, I won't be there. Jake and the missus are playing hardball.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Holloman, I'm doing lots of rearranging in my apartment this week to make more room for classified. Dude, I've been trying to do that for months now. Good luck. Hans Chow asking, HasLab Mauler next? I don't think so. I think the fact that BMAC was out last week with the big Rattler wing t-shirt, I think that was kind of the clue. And during this unboxing today too, Lenny said Jet a couple of times when he was I think it's just Jet on the brain because they're obviously in the planning stages for whatever's coming next. I think that told us a little Freudian slip there. So I mean, I'm all for a Mauler. Don't get me wrong, but I have a feeling it's a Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
Reckless hot take from Dustin Jeffrey. Next HasLab will be the Joe Space Station for Pyramid of Darkness. All right. Complete with 18-foot tall zero gravity chamber for Dusty to fly down.
That's a good idea. Hey, wait a minute. Did he just say reckless hot take?
Why, yes, he did. And I wish I had the button ready, but hang on.
Aww.
Hang on. We'll get there.
From the top. Wait a minute. Did he just say reckless hot take?
There we go.
Worth it.
Absolutely. No
Worth
question. No question. Troy is confused. He's just confused. This is why the show only took 35 minutes when you were on it, Troy.
I was going to say he's lamenting his life decisions, but that would be plural.
Look, this is why he keeps hanging out with us at cons, right?
Yeah.
For the ambiance.
That's right.
Yeah, we're like that rat. We're like that rash you can't quite get rid of.
Because we will offer him a ride to the restaurant, but he will have to sit in the bottom part of the trunk of the minivan.
Yeah, if he survives me in the parking lot.
That's
He
those
can
are
get
both
past-
true stories from the same con.
Yeah.
The only way those stories are better is if you had dove into their vehicle to avoid mine.
Yeah, we had we minivanned across the parking lot with like 12 people, and Troy got the trunk, which isn't so bad in a minivan. He had headroom. I mean, that's better than some of the folks in the regular
Oh
cab.
yeah, everybody else was stacked in there. I had leg room. It was great.
Not the worst part of that trip.
Nope.
I was up front. Crocodile Joel was riding shotgun because he came from Australia. I'm not going to make him sit in a big mass of bodies. That's
He
how
was
that
going to
works,
have to do that long enough on a plane.
right?
And Greg Child stopped you in the parking lot to see if you needed a cold drink or some snacks or anything.
I should have taken.
Because he flat out rocks.
Hey, look, I owe Crocodile Joel perpetually for that one. Joe Colton volunteered me to drive somebody back to the airport, and that was a long trip.
Ooh.
That's true. Yeah, it was.
But Crocodile Joel came along for the whole thing, so I didn't even get a chance to leave him at the airport. He was that wily. Jake Rose, historically riding in a trunk, not awesome, but in a minivan, again, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Minivan, remember,
You
context.
You get used to it. Not as bad as people make it out to be.
Right. It was only a parking lot. It wasn't that bad. There was Perkins at the end of that parking lot, so it's a fantastic ride. A trip to remember. A trip to remember. Truly fun for all. Next news item. Hey, in case you forgot, pre-orders were open today for the Retro series on G.I. Joe Classified. These are available wherever toys are sold. We had our Cobra Trooper, we had Cobra Commander, we had Stalker. I have to issue a retraction from last week because, as a proper toy journalist should, I made claims that we did not often see Stalker in a camouflage beret. So I went back through the old picture catalog and found that it happened kind of a lot in comics and other media. So while it did not happen on the figure, it didn't happen on the cartoon, it did happen in other places. So I apologize for barking as loudly as I did. That said, I still wish it was green like the figure. But like I said last week, when Classified Retro Stalker is on display, I'll just take the beret off the other one.
So is this the G.I. Joe comics and other media series? Just checking.
Look, man, I cannot compliment Cobra Commander as, quote, and this is me quoting me here, looking like he stepped off out of the Sunbow cartoon. I cannot use that as a compliment on one hand and then criticize Stalker for his camouflage beret, which happened a lot, mostly in comics, on the other. So I have to be fair. I still prefer green, still prefer the solid green like the figure and the Sunbow cartoon, but if I can see how maybe the reference material they got would have had a camouflage beret.
Green Sharpie fixes that right up.
Right?
That's probably true.
Provided there's enough ink in it after I'm done signing Bart's nipple.
Yeah, it's technically paint though, so I'm not allowed to use that on my figures. Can we talk about trying to identify what 12-inch figure the web gear on the Cobra Trooper came from?
I believe it's the same web gear as the original 13 type Joes have. It's just got different paint apps, so it looks like it's a different piece.
It looks huge.
It really, like, that picture doesn't really do it justice, but I don't think it's anything crazy.
Oof.
But, no, I mean, that is based on that picture. That is an astute assessment. So I'm not going to.
I'm a little nervous. We'll see. Cobra Commander looks great, by the way.
Cobra Commander's absolutely a winner.
Yeah.
Like we gave many props to the Duke Scarlet Recondo wave as just being lights out. Cobra Commander is up there with them.
Mm-hmm.
So Stalker is close. Cobra Soldier, we'll wait and see. Beachhead needs different stuff, but he's pretty good. And then the Eel and the Snow Serpent are disappointing. So we'll rate them out for you right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a lot of complaints about the blue used for the Cobra Trooper, to which I say, come on, folks, lighten up.
I mean, Cobra Blue should just be a PMS color, right? Just
You'd think, but
this is Cobra Blue. We're always going to make Cobra Blue this blue.
I get you.
But I mean,
it is all photography. Once you got to get it in hand before you can truly judge it. But Cobra Blue should be a set color. It probably is.
Maybe. We'll see. Again, there have been some back-to-backs by people that have gotten those in hand, and they do look a little different. It looks a little lighter, but maybe that's just what they did previously versus what they're doing now. You know, we did have a noted shift after the Cobra Troopers were released. You know, Cobra Trooper was before they started making everything realistic or more realistic. So maybe that is something that was tangibly different from back then. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not worried about it. I got 2 of them coming. I'm not outfitting a whole company worth of guys. Come on now. I got space problems. Space problems. There's a dragonfly coming at the end of the year. I got problems.
I don't know, Mike. Maybe you should find somewhere to put those 175 beachheads.
They're in one tub, man. They're not a problem. They're tiny. I think it's up to 296.
Oof.
No.
It will be after Joe Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I gotta spend money on other stuff there. So
how much does Mike's autograph cost? 1 beachhead.
Ooh, that would I might sign 2 things for that.
Right? He's not picky, man. Just floppy, paint a little rubbed, busted crotch, missing weapons, wrong color weapons.
It's just got to be a figure. It can't just be a pile of parts.
Yeah.
It's got to be an honest to God figure. That's really all it is.
Mike will take them all.
They need a good home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shoot.
And if they can't find one, just give it to Mike.
Right? Yeah. I mean, shoot. One of them's half lift ticket.
True.
We don't care. I put that one up for vote. All you people said, no, bring it in. Don't leave it out in the cold and snow.
Is he lift head or beach ticket?
Beach ticket.
Nice.
Because the top half is beach head. So it's
all
beach
right.
ticket.
All right.
I'm sure there's a lift head out there. I could probably make one, frankly, but I'm not up for that.
File name Wayne Sikorsky. What?
Huh?
And if you actually take his mask off, he's got that dorky looking look on his thing. Oh. Did Lift Ticket have the worst head ever?
Oh no.
It was bad.
It was humongous, but it wasn't even the worst of that year, I don't think.
Just a look on his face, right?
It was like that wry grin kind of thing. Like he was Slipstream's head was worse than his.
Well, that was the Perma Brown nose. That's a problem.
Right.
But I don't want my rescue helicopter guy looking confused, right? Like
I never got that impression. I'm not going to defend it as being good, but I never looked at him and saw confused. Racktime Rob is bailed for some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, he's Batman Marathon.
Zaymot CGC asked, does Mike only collect vintage beachheads or collect for the purposes of Beach Party 86, just 1986 beachheads? So I'll get one of other types, but no, we're not just collecting for the sake of collecting at this point. There's got to be a point. I don't have the space to just to accumulate unchecked. But moving on. Still also open this Kickstarter campaign from Skybound. Of course, Rob is gone. I can't turn to my Skybound correspondent because why should that work?
He had one job. One job.
Literally one job. You're right, Troy. We may have to kick Phil out, give you his spot, and then kick Rob out and give Phil his spot.
Hey, in fairness to Rob, he also ruins the Yankee score for me quite a bit.
He does.
That's 2. Yeah.
He does. He constantly. But anyways.
I'm back.
You better be. Because look where we are.
I know. Like, it was 3 iced teas. It was just too much.
He was visiting the pissoir.
Mhm. So that's what's behind that door.
No, that's his closet.
He pees in the closet?
Yes.
The water
rough.
closet.
That's rough, dude.
That's why his apartment's in the very back.
Yeah, if it starts to smell, you just close the door. I get it.
Just send him down the hallway as far as you can.
I have a big litter box in there.
But Ragtime Rob,
Yes.
we got a total on this
Yes, we do.
as senior Kickstarter correspondent.
All right. 5,785 backers with a total of $2,079,001.
Yay!
I
Wait a
hope this
minute.
makes.
You got to verify that with 2 sources, or it's not real.
Okay.
You know what? Oh, yeah. You know what? It just went up.
Okay.
It just went up another $400.
Right. So somebody bought a set. We'll
Yep.
call that the What's on Joe Mind push.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's got 2 million with 2 weeks to go. Plus 2 weeks plus.
So you mean to say they would have never gotten to $2,079,400 without us?
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Maybe $2,078,000, but certainly not $2,079,000.
Seems legit.
But anyhow, so yeah, if you figure out your budget and you can get that one in there, you know, every little bit helps get us to the goal. Wait, no, the goal's long gone. I forgot what the goal was. That's how long ago that was.
50,000.
Because this thing funded in 6 freaking minutes. So I guess all that's left at this point is get in your pledge, get your books ordered, and see how high this thing goes. Maybe the biggest comic Kickstarter of all time.
I love that they beat their stretch goal by $2 million.
Right.
$2,025,000.
Well
Once
done.
again, I continue to be amazed by how these crowdfunding projects come up, and everybody's always stunned when G.I. Joe community steps up and hammers one out of the park like this. But you know, Lord knows we can restart Biker Mice from Mars, but you know, there's no fan support for a G.I. Joe animation project.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
We're going to sink a lot of money into G.I. Joe, but we're going to make Snake Eyes a jerk with no mask.
Reprehensible.
We're going to make him give him a great outfit. He'll wear it for the last 4 seconds of the movie. It's going to be amazing.
Be fantastic.
We
He's
got
gonna fight a giant CGI snake.
We got giant snakes. It's going to be incredible.
We gotta not kick back to that. Gotta not make references to the Snake Eyes movie because it makes me want to stop doing the show.
But to show that with a better direction, it could have been really good because we're going to do Storm Shadow, Baroness, and Scarlet all pretty damn good.
Right.
It's awesome.
Akiko's going to get in there and she's going to survive.
Right?
Anyways.
Still better than Dead Game.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Clearing a low bar, but fair.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's about 1 foot taller. See what I did there?
Oh.
How do you have ninjas with swords fight each other for 2 hours without 1 drop of blood?
I don't
so
know.
good. The
don't
ninjas
know.
these days, so good.
There was not a lot of blood in ninjas fighting on the mountainside scene either, so I'm not going to necessarily criticize that. There's ways to do that.
No, but that dude went down the zip line and ate a cliff with his face. Still my favorite part. Reminds me of the part where the guy in Titanic, where the Titanic sits up and the guy jumps off and nails the propeller on the way down.
Right.
So good.
Matt Rubin asked, do you think the Snake Eyes would have had a better reception if Akiko had died. No, I don't think it affects the reception of it. I just that character had pointless background character death written all over her, and then it didn't happen. So,
which is not necessarily a complaint, but
No, I would have put $1,000 on her dying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If I had discretionary income for betting, that would have been it.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been it.
We're
right.
not calling for her death. We're just surprised she made it.
Right.
DraftKings wouldn't even lay odds on her surviving.
Right. I got no problems with Akiko. She was fine. She was well performed, written okay. There was some weirdness going on there, but it wasn't good job all around. And she survives. What? I'm just saying. When Snake Eyes 2 rolls down, she better have a better part. But moving forward, next news item.
When that rolls around.
Another Tuesday drop. Thanks for that. No, it wasn't. I just found it on Tuesday. But Renegade Con is this Friday. They're doing their special edition for summer. Friday afternoon. Doesn't look to be anything specifically Joe this time around. So I don't want to get everybody's hopes up. But if you're into the tabletop and role-playing games that they have put out the last few years, rather, and why shouldn't you be? Fine work on every account. But I don't think this is going to be a big G.I. Joe show for them. All the same, check it out. It's going to happen again Friday on their YouTube channel. If you need more details, head to their website, which is let me make sure I'm getting this one right.
It's alt.black.com/helicopters.
Stop it. That one has a time and place. It's just renegadegamestudios.com.
It's KY Renegade. No.
It's a slippery slope, Mark.
I know.
Next news item.
Do. Look at that.
Hey, it's coming. It's coming. It's the Target Summer Geek Out happening over at their collectors.
And someone is wary.
First reveals are going to be this Friday on the 14th, and every Friday through July 19. So lots of good stuff coming, we hope. My guess is not a ton of Joe, maybe another run on the Tiger Paw, but I don't see a whole lot coming for G.I. Joe. I don't know anything, so take it all with a grain of salt. But usually something's gotten leaked by now for this sort of event, and we haven't seen a whole lot. So again, maybe just another swing at the exclusives that have come out the last couple of months. Yeah, figure 6-pack, Wreckage of Tiger Paw, and maybe the 2-pack, the Roadblock Tripwire 2-pack. I don't know. Again, I'm not terribly excited, but as you can see there, that Mark Webber graphic is excited. Look at him; he's a happy boy back there.
I like that my head's so flat you could rest a beer on it. That's not bad.
That's from back, but when I had D- Photoshop skills,
right?
As opposed to the D+ skills I retain today.
Who knew? I'm Pixel Web.
It's like if you appeared in an old Atari game. That's how
right?
it was like.
That's me in the first G.I. Joe game.
Running across as a giant snake tries to shoot down on you.
Right? Summer Geek Out will be featuring banned books. They're going to read them out loud.
Oh, goodness. So that's all I got for you there. We'll find out what's going on first this Friday. I believe 9 a.m. Eastern. So next item.
Do.
We got some Skybound bits. Transformers 9 is tomorrow. If you're collecting the robots.
That's a good read. If you haven't,
really
if you haven't given it a shot, it's the best Transformers book in ages.
It is. I do have my one complaint is that they seem to be doing a lot of the let's introduce an obscure or underused character just to kill them in a couple panels bit, which doesn't make me too happy.
Well,
But,
they seem to be bringing them back all the time too. Like I don't know what dead actually is in that universe.
right.
But-
The rules have not been clearly established, but that
Bumblebee.
seems to be what they're doing at this point. So we'll see. We'll hold out hope for poor Gears, but I don't think it's necessarily happening.
My boy Skywarp had a good run for a while.
For a minute,
He's still around, kind of.
he kind of look. If Skywarp came back, I would understand.
He's part of the furniture.
I kind of like that bit where he's monkey and he's the ghost in the machine. That's not bad.
Right. But then on the 19th, that is Cobra Commander for the trade, and then Destro #1 also on the 19th. So that'll be a big one next week. The big week for GI Joe. Troy McKee, you buying the Skybound comics?
I am not. I got out during the IDW run, and I went back and just focused on making sure I had all the variants on the original Marvel run, and kind of focusing on that. So I have not been following the Skybound stuff.
I would recommend it, man. They've got the trades coming. The first block of Transformers, the Duke miniseries, the Cobra Commander miniseries. Don't worry about single issues, whatever. You're an adult. You don't necessarily need single issues. But if you can pick up the trades, It's a good read.
Yeah. Yep.
I did not expect myself to hear myself saying that in a book where G.I. Joe and Transformers were in the same universe. Because as you know, I like my chocolate and I like my guacamole, but I don't like chocolate in my guacamole. Two great tastes best left far apart was how I felt about this in the past. But kudos to Skybound. We're at least off to a great start.
I don't know what they're doing with Destro #1. Everybody knows that Bizarro is #1. Yeah. No? Come
That
on,
one-
Rob.
Look, I mean,
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to get you're connecting there. I mean, I know the Bizarro #1. In fact,
Look at this. I figured he'd have something handy.
it's not the reference that's eluding us, Mark. It's the humor.
That's fair. He's looking good.
He took that one like a champ. I'm surprised.
Bizarro must have had some work done. He's looking
I think
good.
he did.
Must be that Ozempic.
He had a little chiseled off the chin.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, that's what Skybound's got coming down the pike over the next couple of weeks. Next news item.
Okay.
That's all we got. Remember to tune into the G.I. Joe 3D printing podcast for any updates on the Chonky Tank Kitty project, as well as maybe something for the Staff Sergeant Sea Nugs in action figure too. Who knows? I don't know. They haven't put out an episode in a little bit. It's tough to tell what's going on. They're busy. They're important folks with things to do and people to see. But again, check them out wherever your podcasts are gotten. We will be right back with you in just a moment. But first, a quick word from our good friends at Kokomo Toys.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
All right. There we go. You gotta love the boss and the mayor at Kokomo Toys. But Troy McKee, I'm not sure why you're our guest, but you're our guest.
It's rough.
I'm not sure either, Mike.
oh boy, this is going well.
Look, we've been on a pretty good run the last couple of weeks. It's tough to get a word in edgewise sometimes. Between me being a dick and Mark flopping Bizarro jokes. But
#1.
of course, we showcased you a little bit earlier. You will be in attendance at Joe Fest. You will also have your partner, John Vukovic, or rather John Kukovic, the original Johnny Kooks. He will be at the DFW show. So you guys are going to be in both places on the same weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the folks what to expect from each locale.
So, as far as the locales go, Dallas is in Texas. Augusta is in Georgia. Those are different states.
I'm hovering over the remove button, Troy. I have Phil Donnelly on speed dial.
So yeah, John's going to be at the DFW show. We're co-sponsoring Kirk to be at the DFW Joe show.
And that is Kirk again.
Yeah. So John's making that trip. We're just doubling up on expenses. That's what we're doing here. We're doing cons, but it's costing twice as much.
That's economy. That is.
It is. Somewhere
why burn 2 weekends with 2 cons? You're getting 2 cons out of 1 weekend.
Out of 1 weekend. So yeah, John will be at DFW. Mikey will be with him. So they'll be running the Texas contingent. And then I will be at Joe Fest, running the booth there. At Joe Fest, we're partnering with Operation Recall with Carson from 3D Joe's and with Skeletron, with Ben from Skeletron, to bring Doug Hart in. And Doug Hart's going to be at Joe Fest. So Doug has not been to a lot of Joe shows, so this is kind of a new thing to have Doug there. Doug is our packaging artist on Longbow. He's the packaging artist on Operation Recall. He does the packaging art on the retro figures for Skeletron. Beyond that, though, everybody on this show probably knows him better as being a packaging illustrator on G.I. Joe. So Doug was an in-house illustrator at Hasbro for many years. The first thing I believe that he worked on for Hasbro is he actually did the Night Raven art in '86, and that's a gorgeous piece of art.
Yeah.
And a lot of people remember Hector Garrido for doing the art in the early years on Joe. But towards the end of the Real American Hero run, Doug was pretty much doing all of the art. So Doug, really starting in the early '90s through the end of the line, he did it all. He did all of Ninja Force, all of DEF. I don't know that he did the Street Fighter figures because they're done in a little bit different style. But all the Battle Corps stuff, the Star Brigade, that's all Doug, and that's just a very small kind of sampling of what Doug did at Hasbro. Because he was in-house, he worked on all kinds of stuff. He worked on Visionaries, he worked on Air Raiders, he worked on Stargate, he worked on so many things he can't even remember all the stuff that he worked on. Probably just anytime they needed illustration work, Doug was there and he was in-house, so they would just grab him and he would paint. And we are very fortunate to get to work with him. Like I said, he hasn't been to a lot of Joe shows, so this is a little bit new for him. So we got prints in. We've got 11 by 17 prints of all the Longbow characters that he's painted. So if you're coming to Joe Fest, we'll have those available for purchase. Doug said he'd be willing to autograph those. So that's kind of a unique thing nobody's been able to offer before. And just great to kind of give Doug his due finally. There were a lot of guys that worked on the line that we saw at Joe Con over the years, and guys that would come back year after year. And Doug is not as well known probably to most folks. So this is a good opportunity if you're going to be in Augusta to come meet somebody that worked on the vintage line and from a little bit different perspective than the designer or the brand managers.
Michael Kleppinger, real quick, Troy, not to change subjects on you, but did note that it's been a while. There will be a new 3D printing podcast this Saturday at 11 Eastern. So there you go. There's that. I see. I spoke it into existence.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, fans of the G.I. Joe 3D printing podcast. But no, good point on that, Troy. We haven't seen a lot of Doug Hart. I know, speaking as somebody who went to a lot of Joe Cons, I've never met the guy, but he does a lot of the work, and he did. I think after '89, was the last time Hector Garrido did any work. So anything after that and a lot of work before that.
Yeah, because Hector wasn't doing everything. I want to say like 85 was maybe the last year he did all of them. I know, like, when you look at 86, I don't know who did the leatherneck art, but like it is clearly different. Same thing when you get into 87, like the sneak peek art clearly doesn't match the rest. Not, it's good, but it's not.
Right. You can tell it's not the
that
same guy.
style. Yeah. But I don't believe that was Doug. Carson might know better. What specific, who painted what specific art, but yeah, Doug's style is real noticeable, and I loved the DEF figures when I was a kid, because I was right at about the right age, because I was born a little later. I wasn't born till 83, so I'm a little later than most guys, in the hobby. So when we get into that stuff in 90, 92, 93, 94, they're at the end of the line where a lot of guys check out. That's prime time for me, because that was when I was buying stuff with my own money for the first time, and
that's big pimpin' McKee is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when I walked in to the Kmart in the town that I live in, and they had Street Fighter 2 GI Joe figures on the shelf. Like, I lost my mind, because that was the biggest game going on at the time. And it wasn't like now where we have the internet and stuff leaks and we see things in advance. That was a total surprise. Like, here's this video game I love and these GI Joes that I love, and here they are in one place.
Right. You were 9 o'clock. You were 9 years old, man. You didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I know. And I was the demographic, right? When they talk about that. So
right. It's like they're using the stick on the whiteboard like they did back in the day, and there's just a picture of you on the whiteboard. Yep. This kid right here.
Yep.
Get him.
You saw those on the aisles and you immediately went.
I walked out of there with a Blanca. That was the one I got. That
nice.
The redhead.
Yeah,
good first.
He was
pick.
green and he had teeth, and like that was really different than all the other Joes I had.
Blanca and E Honda.
Acid.
Mm-hmm.
Blanca and E Honda, man, they're the two standouts of that line for me.
Yeah.
Josiah Alcohorn trying to be funny. Wow, the guy that brought us Lobotomax. He didn't bring us Lobotomax. He did the card art for Lobotomax.
Yeah. You notice I managed to sit on my. Did he do the Desert Apache?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I
would
think so.
Then I hold him somewhat responsible.
And Doug did a lot of the vehicles because he was kind of known for doing airbrushing, which you see in a lot of the vehicle art when they needed to do, like a gradient down the side. So he kind of specialized in that. So he did a lot of the vehicle packaging. And even though I don't think he painted the card art for the Street Fighter figures, I'm pretty sure he did paint the card art or the packaging on all the Street Fighter vehicles, because that art style is definitely Doug's.
But he also did the card art for Lobotomax's twin brother, Zamatoball.
Ooh.
That's one of my favorite jokes that I've ever made, ever.
We're going to file that right next to Bizarro.
No, it's better than that.
Dozens of people get that.
All right. I don't care if they do. It's a G.I. Joe joke, at least, unlike the Bizarro joke.
It would look good on a shirt if you had the twins together, like
right.
Just
do a reverse one. Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't, like, if you put a picture of Lobotomax in front of me, I'd have to check to see. Like, that's how much the Maximals are stuck in my head, which is
they're not Maximals.
Yeah,
no, they're not Maximals. They're Lunatics.
I'm sorry,
Lunatics, yeah.
But again, illustrating the point. That's how little I actually care about them. But man, I like that joke.
If you do the opposite of Lobotomax, it's a pretty good figure that everyone likes. Mm-hmm.
Checkpoint Alpha checking in. Hello, fellas. Well, hello, Checkpoint Alpha.
Yeah, Lobotomax is definitely like the not to offend anybody, but the redheaded stepchild of that.
Oh! Mark it down, folks, at 149.02. we start the racist portion of the
program. Troy has a predilection towards those with souls. and doesn't care for those without. I love dumping the gasoline on things. Anyways, so Troy, I know I put Ghost in the thumbnail, and that wasn't so much because we have Ghost figures for folks at Joe Fest. That is not the case. It was more in regards to the last few updates that you've put out on your Kickstarter have been about Ghost. So for the folks that maybe don't check their email, like Racktime Rob, fill us in. How's progress on Call Sign Longbow?
So we're ahead with Ghost. Ghost is moving through the production process. Obviously, if you've seen the latest update, we had lots and lots of Ghost parts, and those are final production pieces, and that's very exciting. And that's coming together really well. We'll have more in our next update about what's going on with Ghost. But yeah, we've really been pushing ahead with Ghost. The other figures in the line, we're still making progress there. There's a couple of other big projects that the factory has going on, and we're kind of waiting in line. And that's just how it goes. I will say that our figures, at least so far, in working on Ghost, have come together fairly quickly once it's our turn, which is nice. It's just a matter of there's kind of this backlog in front of us. And I know this is hard to believe, but this is still kind of a COVID backlog. There are still projects that they are still catching up on,
right?
That were delayed in the post-COVID era. And it was an awkward thing because where our factory is in China, they had some additional COVID restrictions that lasted a lot longer than they lasted here in the States.
Right.
And they had like a zero COVID policy, which was really difficult to follow, but that kind of pushed things out.
Right.
So there's a couple of different factors kind of delaying that, but we have full confidence that once it's our time on deck, we'll move pretty quickly through that. Sculpting's, done and ready to go. We've had conversations about getting, the rest of the figures tooled later this summer. But it's kind of this awkward thing because we send that stuff off and they say, hey, we're going to do this. And then you don't hear back from a week or two. And maybe that got done. Maybe that didn't get done. But it's so, we're in a good place to move forward. We're just kind of waiting to get there. And admittedly, there's a lot of stuff going on going into Joe Fest. So that we're trying to keep a lot of plates spinning right now. And I know that's true at the factory level too. So, but yeah, we're gonna have some more updates on Ghost soon. There's some other stuff that's going to get shown at Joe Fest, not necessarily from Longbow and Grindstone, but there's some really cool stuff that I've seen pictures of this week at one of the other booths that I'm really stoked about. But I'm gonna leave that be for now.
So the only other time I've been to Joe Fest was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you think back to 2019, and this is not public knowledge necessarily, but I figure it's safe to talk about now. There was a secret meeting that not everyone was invited to, a secret panel.
There were a couple of secret
things. And Joe Colton and I were there representing the big program.
Mm-hmm.
But look, Mark, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, you could, because I was a Hasbro guy. No, wait. No.
I think it's because you weren't in the building. I think that was more.
Wasn't I at that Joe Fest? Pretty sure I was.
No. Look, man, it's the only one I've been to, so I have a good recollection of who was there and who wasn't.
Could have flown me in. That's my point.
So this means that pretty much this year we're at the 5-year mark, man.
Well, we're way beyond the 5-year mark from the time that this was originally envisioned. Yes,
right. I'm sure. But I mean, like, if you're going to put a timestamp on it, we could say that this is the 5-year mark. What part of this process has gone faster for you than expected, and what part has just been a grind that you could not have anticipated non-COVID.
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody anticipates a 2-year world shutdown, right? Nobody.
Yeah, it was that 2-year world shutdown because everything that we had planned to move forward with got essentially put on hold.
Right.
You know, and that screwed up everything. And admittedly, like this project has been in the planning stages long before that initial panel that we did in 2019. You know, this line comes from kind of the idea of what are all the things that John and I wanted that we never got, right? And I know we've said that a couple of times, but that's true. That's where it comes from. And it's, you know, looking back at stuff I had as a kid, or, you know, I wanted something slightly different, or, you know, there's this hole that never got filled, and how we're going to do that. And, you know, so that's really where the project started. As far as what's gone faster, boy, that was hard because you know, I don't necessarily feel like anything's gone particularly fast. And no matter what we had estimated, I feel like it's never enough. And I feel like that's true in my entire life. If I have a weekend project planned around the house that I have dedicated X number of hours to it, it is almost certainly going to end up taking me longer than that. You know, that's just the way it works.
Right.
You know,
you may not be the best person to ask that question because you're not necessarily green to the toy business. Like, to remind everybody at home, Troy has done freelance work for Hasbro. He's done freelance work for Boss Fight Studio. Like, Troy had been around the block a few times before Grindhouse Toys came into being. So, you know, there's a real resume and real credentials attached to this guy, despite the fact that he refuses to say anything most of the time.
Yeah, I tend to keep real quiet. I mean, you know, like Mark was talking about earlier, I do all the packaging on Valaverse, right? You know, and I have since the first figures in that line came out. So, you know, there's a lot, you know, but yeah, nothing seems to go as quick as I would expect. I will say, working with Doug has gone pretty smoothly, and Doug turns around pretty quick, and it's great because I talk to him on the phone, you know, when we're working pretty much every week, and then there will be a little gap in between when we've got stuff for him to do, but that's been a great a really great part of the process that I probably didn't foresee coming into it. You know, we are very fortunate that we get to work with Doug, and it's great to have kind of built that friendship with him, and just to chat with him. Sometimes he's got lots of great stories about when he worked in house, you know. So that's been a lot of fun. As far as things that have taken longer than expected, I mean, I guess I've kind of covered that. Everything feels like it has taken longer than expected. Tooling has taken a while. I don't know. You know, it's a hard thing because every piece of the project is different. And even within Longbow, right, working on an individual figure, some of it goes a little more as what you've expected, and then something will come up that takes longer that we have to go back and address. But we want to make sure we do that because we are really focused on the end product. You know, we could move faster on some things, but it's more important for us to make sure that we get the details right. Right. You know, especially with the O-ring format, like, we are very anal about making sure that it, you know, looks right, feels right, and then we're getting as close as we can, adapting the modern manufacturing techniques to that vintage look. And that is not always a direct line between those two things, because even though you would think, okay, well, this is the way they used to make them, why can't we just make them that way? Sometimes they can't. Sometimes literally we cannot do it that way anymore, you know, because they don't have that kind of equipment anymore, or there's nobody that knows how to do the process that way anymore. So we have to adapt to a modern, you know, way of doing it, and kind of modify what we've got. where we still wind up in the same place and the same aesthetic. So that's been interesting. The other thing is we're being very careful right now until we deliver on the Kickstarter not to talk too much about what we have planned afterwards, just because we feel like we need to get that delivered first, right? We don't want anybody to think we're selling the next lineup of stuff before we've delivered on the first. But work has continued along on other future items while we're waiting, right? It's not like we're just burning time. Work goes on, always planning for the next thing. Mark knows what that's like when you're always thinking, 18 months to 2 years out, and what you're trying to develop and get ready to go. And there's just a lot of pieces of it. We're also very fortunate that we're involved in a lot of other projects, right? We're helping out on Operation Recall. They're using a shared buck that has common joints with our figures, so that those will be interchangeable. We've done a lot of work with Skeletron on their Retro Wolf Trooper. That design shares some tooling with Ghost, but we worked on that. So we've got other irons in the fire too as we're moving forward, when we're not working on Longbow stuff, right? The Longbow stuff is still our priority. That's still where we're at. That's still what we're pushing on. But we've got a lot going on. So,
right, there are advantages to having other friends who made the strange decision to get into being a small-time toy maker as well.
Yeah. And and that's the thing. We have a very good working relationship with a lot of folks, and I prefer that, right? I always like to work with friends, and that has been very rewarding for us, creatively, and just, it is so much fun to work on action figures. It is more fun to work on action figures with your friends, though,
right.
And especially in the early kind of concept stages where you can just come up with cool ideas. I wish there was more of that.
Like ninjas with fur hats.
Yeah, exactly. I wish there was more of that stuff, and I wish there was less of the running the business stuff, securing trademarks and, doing the banking and sending out W-2 forms, after the first of the year and that kind of stuff, because that's not the fun part.
When you're a kid, nobody tells you the advantages of being good friends with, the little weirdo in the corner that's really into being a billing specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody tells you the benefits of that, because you just figure, oh, that's sad for him. Be nice to him when he tries to throw a baseball, but your baseball skills fade, but your billing skills never fade.
Yep.
Bart wants to know real quick, Troy, will you be signing autographed packing slips like Mark does?
If you bring them to me, yes, I'll be more than happy to sign them.
There you go.
I'll sign anything that's not a legally binding contract that commits me to time.
Bart travels, so you will see one of those, I'm sure. So Troy, what else? We've got Doug Hart at the booth, and you said he'll be signing Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Prince will be available at the.
They'll be available at Joe Fest, and there will be a limited amount of them at DFW. But Doug will not be autographing them because he will not be in Dallas. So
that would be a good trick.
Yeah, just keep that in mind.
Wait, Prince is going to be at Troy's booth?
Yep,
correct.
Purple Rain all day, baby.
Oh, holy smokes! Talk about a line.
I mean,
That's
it's just
a neat trick.
He'll just be in stasis like Lennon, so it's not like it's.
No, I like it because Prince was also 3 3/4 inches tall. I'm fairly confident.
Josiah Alcorn asks,
Prince was a baller.
That's right. Game blouses.
Josiah Halcorn asks, how did no one slip a thick in the crotch joke during the KY Joe show segment earlier? I don't know, and I feel like we've let you down.
Too easy.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess we'll go with it. But Bart says that Troy and I have met many times. I'll save a nipple for him to sign. Excellent.
No problem.
Excellent. I mean, how many of these things?
Excessive nipples going on.
How many of those things does he have, right?
Bart, we loved you in Total Recall, by the way. Just
I think we're past 3 at this point. But what other fine surprises will you have for the folks besides Doug Hart and Prince?
Prince.
You know, we might have some new samples to show off. We're kind of waiting to see what happens here. And I know this is hard to believe, but lots of times when you have a show, there's stuff that happens at the last minute that we're waiting on. You know, so I'm not going to commit to any of that.
We'll put that
right
in
now,
put that in your version of the Tuesday news drop. That's what that is.
Yeah. My favorite though is last year at Joe Fest when they brought me a box and it was a Longbow shipping carton box that had been mailed to Ed, and I had no idea because I didn't have anything shipped ahead. And when we opened it up, it was actually another product for somebody else that's at our factory. They'd reused one of our boxes, who was also at the show. But I had this weird interaction with this friend of mine, Carl, because earlier in the lead up to the show, he's like, "Oh yeah, I saw Ed, you know, had this box of Longbow stuff." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Ed shouldn't have a box of Longbow stuff. Like we're the only ones that should have a box of Longbow stuff." And I'm like, "Carl, you're losing your mind." But no, sure enough, then they brought me this box.
Don't doubt Carl, man.
No. But the moral of that story is that was something that somebody was getting at the show, because sometimes that's how it goes when you're waiting on stuff. So
right.
I'm thinking that's the best possible resolution to your box shows up, shipped to somebody else, and you don't know what's in it.
Yeah. I knew when I opened it up exactly what it was. I just it was not really ours.
Before we see you in 9 days, Troy, what else do we need to know?
I mean, you need to know a lot, Mike.
Well,
I don't think I can come up with a comprehensive list.
I need to know a lot. I'm not gonna get more than 5 or 6% of it.
He will not do the reading.
No.
I will not. As it is, I've been trying to figure out a way to put together our banner for the table. I had to farm that out today. I can't do a banner. That's too much.
Yeah.
So,
well, Longbow will be across the aisle from, I believe, Marauder. When you come into the show floor, I think that's how it's laid out. I will be there. We are not going to do a Longbow specific panel just because I'm on my own and John's on his own in Dallas. And it's kind of hard to split things up there. So we won't be doing a specific Longbow panel, but by all means, stop by the table. We're happy to talk about it. We are going to do a joint panel with Carson and Ben and Doug. All about Doug's art. So please come by and see that panel. I don't remember off the top of my head what day and what time. If only we had a Kickstarter correspondent that could have brought that update up.
Look,
I can't count on him for anything. Nothing.
You want to know what's been happening with? I'm getting emails from Kickstarter, and then I try to open them up, and everything disappears in them. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't matter who it's from.
He's lying to you, Troy, but that's fine.
That's, I get it.
Oh,
I get
He's on vacation. He's on vacation.
Blame the technology. It'll be fine.
Leave him alone.
Yeah. But yeah, come by the booth. We're happy to chat. Like I said, hopefully we're going to have some samples for you to look at that are pretty close to production on Ghost at least. So stop on by. Yeah, and the same for John. He'll have the same stuff. I'll have, like I said, he'll have some of the posters. We will still have battle stands and patches and the stuff that we've had in the past. So we'll have some things, but
And
come say hi.
By John, you mean the original Johnny Cooks?
The original Johnny Cooks. Yep.
All right.
Except no substitutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we'll put a bow on it there. Again, if you've got more questions for Troy, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. We'll do our best to Troy might answer them himself, or if not, we'll reach out to him on your behalf. We have nothing but time to throw things at Troy, knowing that he will ignore us at a certain point.
Mm-hmm. But not on his lunch break.
Out.
Not on his lunch break when he needs somebody to watch his table.
That's right. That's right.
When I will,
Then I'm looking for my friends from What's on Joe Minds.
I will slash prices and tell you lies about Call Sign Longbow. Come on by. It'll be a good show.
It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Blue light special going on right here.
Right, just pick out out of somebody's $5 bin some random figure from some long forgotten line and just say, and this is Ghost.
It looks like Tiger Man from Buck Rogers. No, it doesn't.
It's a Fisher Price adventure person with no paint left on it.
Right. We apologize for the delays, but I decided to make every character a redhead.
And we're doing a bug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Daryl will show up with a bug. Wait a minute. Are you supposed to be in Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had a bug here.
If he pre-orders enough, we might be able to justify that.
Right.
Right. But yeah, we'll put a bow on it there, man. If you're heading to Joe Fest, be sure to come on out and see Troy. If you're heading to DFW, the original Johnny Kooks awaits.
Mm-hmm.
But so we'll go from there straight into shout outs. Troy McKee, who you shouting out to?
I guess I'll shout out the original Johnny Kooks, since he's going to be in Dallas, taking care of things down in Texas. You know, it's this has been different. Trying to plan for both of the shows at once and doubling stuff up and then splitting it and making sure we get things where they're supposed to go. So I'm going to be meeting him actually here the week before the show to make sure that we have everything that we need going to the right places. So I appreciate him doing that and helping to kind of give us a bigger footprint, you know, with both shows being on the same weekend. You know, and
that's why you're on this show this early, is because you said, no, I have a long voyage ahead of me.
Yeah. I got some traveling to do before I get to Augusta. You know, and it's a long trip to Augusta anyway.
Right.
You know, for me. So it's
coming from Vancouver, I believe.
Yeah. You know, the north end of Vancouver. So it's a ways. You know, and I'd also like to, you know, give a shout out to everybody that we've partnered with on things. Like I said, that's been really important for us. We really like collaborating. We like working on fun stuff, whether it's our fun stuff or somebody else's fun stuff. You know, I can't say enough great things about Ben and Mark at Skeletron. You know, they've been instrumental in helping us along. You know, working with Carson, you know, working with Doug, when we can bring him on things. I guess one thing I totally forgot to talk about, Broken Icon Comics, who's our publisher. We did have in the update, we have been working with them on issue 2 of the Longbow comic. That script has been approved, and they are now working on generating the art. So we've got that, and that comic is going to be more focused on Volk and his hunt team, and kind of putting that together. So we're excited because we're going to get to introduce some more characters there. And even on the Longbow side, we're going to get to do a little more character development. That first issue, because we wanted to keep it to 22 pages, was a lot of action and very quick. And we had to cut a lot of character development and interaction. And we're going to get to kind of catch up on a little bit more of that in issue 2. So, you know, just shout out to everybody we've been working with. You know, like I said, it's great to collaborate with folks, and that's what makes this fun.
There you go. But Josiah Alcorn did the legwork for you on the Joe Fest panel, 1 p.m. on Saturday.
I think you should make him the chief Kickstarter correspondent.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah, you don't threaten Rob with a good time. Jeff Butler also adding Johnny's son, Mikey Kukovic, the original Mikey Kooks. We'll have some of his stuff from JMK Custom Works at DFW as well. So there you go.
Mikey's the tall one.
He's the one that answers to Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
So just shout that at everybody you see in DFW, and he will be the one that answers. Who else we shouting out, Troy?
I mean, could shout out a lot of people. How long do you want me to go on?
How many shout outs do you have?
I'd like to thank my agent. I'd like to thank the Academy.
Don't forget mom and dad.
He goes all that way, and all he's got for us is a stock joke. I called his bluff, and look what he brings us.
Hey,
Same old.
If this were a 30-minute show, I'd be on my A game, but 2 hours into it, I'm just not there anymore.
We build this show on the comedy stylings of Troy McKee, and you bring us that.
I think we find the truth is thick in the crotch, but thin in the jokes.
I'm just trying to keep the jokes clean, and sometimes that's hard. I got to stop and think a lot before I talk.
You do have a small child, so your behavior has to be explained.
I do a lot more thinking now before I speak. So
I have no small children, so my filter has gotten more and more out of place.
There you
go. Ragtime Rob, who we shouting out?
Shout out to the studio audience. Thanks for coming in tonight. In particular, we have a comment from Daredevil Dave. His son is shipping out to basic training in 2 days, so good luck there.
There you go. Shout out to Daredevil Dave's son.
And I think we need to have a shout out for Bart's comment here.
Yeah, man.
I think we need to do something about that, Mike.
I think we do. I think anytime anybody dismisses the fine original works of our staff composer, Paul Sidaway, I think this is what...
Yeah, man. Let me give a shout out to the Bart Simon, because we wouldn't be playing the horns without you. And when you hear the horns from the Bend, Oregon, you just know that everything gonna be irie, man. Heavy.
There you go, Bart. You did this. You did this to yourself. You did this to yourself.
You should hear the dance remix of this. It's incredible.
I've just lost the button. I really would have turned it off by now. Hang on. There we go. I have a lot of buttons. I have a lot of buttons. Mark Weber.
Yeah, man.
Shout it out.
I want to give a shout out to the Bart Simon. Oh, wait. We already did that. Hey, I had a lot of family in town this week because my son graduated high school. I'm not giving him big ups because you got to really mess up not to graduate the high school, right? So good for him for not screwing up. But we live in Rhode Island. It's a haul for anybody to get out here. So we had a lot of family come out and visit, and that was really nice. Particularly saw my big brother Mike, who lives in Jersey, but we don't see each other that often. And on the way out of town, heading west, we caravanned it, and I got to show him the Valaverse office and show him, how the sausage gets made. So that was kind of cool. And my brother Mike looks like me on steroids. He's like 6'4", 260 with gigantic shoulders and a big cop mustache.
How big is his head?
Right? And he's got a big push broom redhead mustache, but he was a cop, so he's grandfathered in. He can keep it as long as he wants.
Right.
But because he was always Big Mike, the Valaverse character Atlas was named Mike in honor of my brother. So I got to show him the file card and the prototype for his first action figure, which was pretty cool.
Does Atlas have the big cop mustache?
He does not. He has a goatee.
No.
But he looks like the rolling pile of vengeance from my high school soccer team, Tim Gates, who was known as the Slammin' Watusi. So let's give a shout out to Big Tim Gates. And if you think Atlas's last name being Gates was an accident, no, it wasn't. Can't name a character after a real, living person, but you could name it after two if you want.
Right.
So there you go. There's your inside baseball for the week. And that's plenty.
Pick your spots. In this case, two of them.
That's it. And sometimes it's the same spot.
I'll give a shout out. I'll reiterate Rob's shout out to our studio audience. Thank you so much for joining us every week. Even if you're getting a little stingy with the clicks, come on now. Down below, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're on Facebook, not a whole lot of Facebook reactions tonight. Be sure to do that, please. That's what sends us through all the algorithms. We really don't ask you for a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just use this button on the mouse here, this left button, and click the special little boxes, and everybody will be happy.
Click love, click like, click.
We had a big week for new subscribers last week. It's a lot of pressure to put on Troy, because if he doesn't match that, he's gone. He's out of here. He's never coming back. So you need to hit all those buttons.
Ooh.
Ooh, Mark's found the mood ring light.
I hit the lamp, and we're going. Ooh.
Want to give a special sponsor, a special shout out to our sponsors at Kokomo Toys. We haven't sung the theme song in a couple weeks, so we'll do that now. Kokomo Toys, Kokomo Toys. A little louder, McKee. A little louder.
I think it needed horns.
Maybe. We'll get. I think Paul has sent me one of those, but I don't have video for it yet. So we'll be ready for that. Be waiting for that. Want to give a special shout to for our good friends over at Roma Collectibles, to Aaron, Ron, and Mary Mercenary. Thank you for continuing to support the corner of madness that we call Community Calendar. Want to give a shout out to our wonderful friends at the Bandcamp podcast. We are, of course, always excited to feature the Bandcamp podcast. It's hosted by Jennifer and Dan. It's perfect for anyone that hates censorship, which should be everyone. Bandcamp is a comedy podcast where they read banned books and try to figure out why they were banned in the first place. They are on to a new book. It's one that I've never heard of before. They're into Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. And as of a couple days, as of today, they're up to chapter 5. So it's a good time to get on. They haven't gotten too far into the new book yet, but be sure to check that one out. If you think banning books will lead to a not so great future, and it will, then Bandcamp is for you. Whether you're like Jennifer and curious to read these books for the first time, or you're like Dan, a little too lazy to read it yourself, you like your reading without all that pesky reading, you'll love Bandcamp. Be sure to look for Bandcamp. That's banned with 2 N's. On your favorite podcast player, and subscribe today. Let's all get banned together. Yeah. I don't know what Mark was trying there, but
it's the debut of Lazy Headless Cap. Like, I don't know if I want to fight crime today.
All we saw was his feet. So
Headless Cap in repose.
Yeah.
Right. Needed to get him up a little bit higher. He wasn't quite visible.
Ooh, everybody's a critic. I don't like how you pose your headless cap figure during the Bandcamp podcast.
Oh God! Oh, now here we go. Here we go. Is this Mark Weber's "Get Off My Lawn"?
Something like that. I mean, I got opinions, and people need to hear them.
It's Mark Weber's "Get Off My Lawn." Brought to you by Depends. You got some juice loose in your caboose. Put some Depends on your ends. And that'll get you cleaned up right quick. Right there. So that's it. That's Mark Weber's "Get Off My Lawn." That's the sparkling news segment here on What's on Joe Mind.
My favorite part of that is that there's 72 of them in there, right? Like, holy smokes.
You figure that's good for at least a week.
Feeling skinny? How about Depends? There you go.
Before Troy goes, I have to put up the call sign Longbow crawl for him for at least a few seconds. Shout out to all of our live listeners, of course. If you're catching us on recording, we love you too, but you too, don't be stingy with the clicks. Do all that cool YouTube stuff, all that cool Facebook stuff. If you're catching us on audio, we love you as well. Be sure to leave us a nice 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to get yourself over to YouTube and subscribe to us there. Just so we know who you are and you can be counted. I think that's what we got this week. Am I missing anything? Missing anybody?
Want to give a shout out to Headless Baron Mordo doing the Dalzim dance.
All right, Mark's gone punchy, so it's time to go. We will be back next Tuesday at 9:05. It'll be the last show before Joe Fest. I don't think we're going to get to a show the week after that. Like, I think we're going to just because of travel logistics, it's not going to happen. We're only getting back probably Monday night, so there's not going to be a whole lot going on for us on Tuesday past catching up on naps. So again, hasn't been finalized yet, but we will be back next week. The Tuesday before Joe Fest, with special guest Carson Metaxas from 3D Joe's and Operation Recall. So there too, we'll get to a last-minute update on stuff going on the floor at Joe Fest with our former host and good friend, Carson. But that's it. Be sure to join us next week here on What's on Joe Mind. We'll be back at 9:05 on the Superstation. We apologize to the folks in charge of the Red Sonja movie marathon. We've gone a little over, but they will pick up the film where it's been preempted.
Now it's time for Red Sonja. Already in progress.
Already in progress. Right. Look, man. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, hope you didn't miss a lot of the plot.
As our friend Vagon likes to say, stay safe, and if you can't, be careful. Be sure to join us next week for another ludicrousness-filled episode of What's on Joe Mind. Have a great rest of the week. Yo, Joe.
Beer.